How's it, sticklers? The Joystick Show is back to talk story about things we've read, watched, or played. Shakas and Mahalas for sticking around. If you fancy what you hear, please like and subscribe on the platform you frequent. I'm your co-host, Drake.
The Joystick Show. The Joystick Show.
That's Thomas.
What up, what up?
And that's Scott.
How's it?
And tonight is episode, enter here, and we've got some things to talk about this evening. We've got a Mufasa trailer. We've got news about Knuckles and Fallout, and we will review The Mummy, Shogun Finale, Deadboy Detectives, and X-Men 97 Episode 7, with a bonus that Thomas is going to be giving to us later on in the episode. So let's stick it. Let's get the elephant out of the room. Let's stick it in, and let's just give me your thoughts on what you thought about Mufasa, the movie that's coming out.
This trailer sucks.
It's not the best. It's not the best.
It just didn't. It didn't sell me. Like I was ready to be sold. It looks beautiful, but doesn't it look like a rehash of what we've already gotten from?
Dude, yeah, it looks just like the Lion King. All the beats in this teaser are like all the highlights in the Lion King.
Yeah, it's the
Like
Lion King, but Mufasa. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
like him and what looks like his version of Nala doing the same
True.
thing we saw in Lion King.
Yeah.
There's a stampede.
Can you feel the love tonight?
Yeah,
Yep.
can you feel the love that? There's a stampede that probably kills his dad. He knows Timon and Pumbaa because they're in this movie.
Dude, how old are they? How old
I don't
are
know.
They're
Yeah.
1,000 years old.
Oh, yeah, how long do they live? I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, do lions? Like,
They're like
yeah,
6th-year seniors at this point. Like
Yeah.
they're still college bros that never graduated. By the time they meet Simba, it's like wouldn't they recognize Simba because they met Mufasa as a cub?
Mufasa, Mufasa,
I
Mufasa,
don't
Mufasa.
yeah. Because I don't remember them even saying like, "Oh, he looks like, this guy we knew before.
Yeah,
He's a lion, bro. Can't be him though. Can't be really him."
Yeah. No
You
way,
know?
that's his son. Yeah. I know,
Okay, so
silly.
you can make the argument then that maybe Mufasa, he's younger, right? But then their lifespan isn't that long, right? Like dog years, cat years. So maybe it's just real short, but it seems long to us because we're human beings.
That's true.
Okay,
Human
well,
lifespan.
That being
do
said,
Scott's
I'm gonna
now
look up
looking up
how
the
long-
science.
how long cats live?
Yeah. How long
the
do
full
lions live?
length,
And I also want you to look at how long meerkats and warthogs live, because
Yeah.
they're about to
Okay,
be
meerkats, 12 to 14 years. Okay,
Yep.
know that. Okay,
Okay.
Makes
We'll look at
sense. Warthogs.
Yeah. Which
7
we
to
know-
11.
7 to 11. 7-Eleven,
Okay.
Warthog. We're coming
Yeah.
through for you.
Lions, males, 8 to 10.
Yeah, so it all hits.
Oh, okay.
So we
Science.
assume that Lion King and Mufasa was all taking place in like a 20-year time frame, you know?
No, it was probably taking place in like a 10-year time frame, right? Like, because lions also grow up pretty fast. All right, science. Who gives a shit? I don't like this.
Yeah,
This
maybe
trailer
white-
was. This trailer was again just a rehash of what we see in Lion King. I do want to give a shout out to the director because I think he is an awesome director. So I do want to see what he does. And the first movie directed by Jon Favreau, the live action one, that made $1 billion. So
Wow.
there is a possibility that this movie will hit the same. He looks cute. There's ash lions, but like the stampede again. Baboons in the night sky.
There's a
All
part where
this-
he's looking up at the sky and he sees a lion.
Really? Come on.
Yeah,
How do you notice
look in the
that part?
stars. I'm like,
What?
Bright like a lion.
Yeah, I know. Like, what? Okay, so this trailer just didn't sell me on anything. Like, I don't know why the lions are in the snow. Do lions like live in the snow?
No, they do not. They live in Africa where it doesn't snow unless you're in Kilimanjaro, and that doesn't really make sense only for the story plot. So
The Kilimanjaran lions, dude.
the question is how much time do we
Sounds
want to
cool.
waste talking about how we don't want to care about this movie?
Yeah. Let's do it. Let's move on to some news. I think it looks beautiful. I'm gonna say that. We're ending on a positive.
One positive. Okay.
one positive. All right.
Hey.
So
Okay.
we're going from we're,
Yeah, we don't get sued, dude. We can't afford it.
Yes.
yeah, I know this is very true. We're going from Paws to Knuckles because Knuckles just dropped on Paramount
Wow.
Plus, and yeah, that was pretty fire, huh?
Was good. Was good.
Yeah, Drake, talk to us a little bit about Knuckles on Paramount Plus.
So I was able to watch the first episode, the pilot, and I was like, oh wow. Do I want to continue watching this? Was the question I kind of asked myself at the end.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
at the conclusion,
Mm-hmm.
I'm intrigued.
well, first of all, I'm gonna
Hold
say
that
that
thought.
Idris Elba,
Oh, bad Drake. Little
Idris
pre-
Elba was
Yeah.
Okay.
pretty good. Okay, he was pretty good.
Okay.
It's him. It's him in a role where he's kind of playing a, he doesn't really know too much about it. There is a little bit of comedy. They introduce some bad guys, one of which is Ted Lasso's love interest. I forget what her name was. Wow.
His wife or the one that he
No,
ends up
the-
hooking up with?
The other one he hooks up with. I forget what her name
Oh,
is.
nice.
Sweetie?
She's
I don't
funny.
know, I remember. Yeah, she's super funny. And you get a little bit of action. You get to see Sonic. You get to see Tails.
Oh, that's
It's
pretty
fine.
cool.
It's fine. It's something that you could watch that you would if you would like. To me, it was slightly geared towards a younger audience. But I think if you're really into Sonic and you love the hedgehogs, then you'll probably end up watching it. So to conclude with the question, should I keep watching it? Maybe. Maybe.
That's a
Should
very
we watch
definitive
it?
answer.
Should you watch it? I think you should watch the pilot. And at the
Okay.
end of it, ask yourself, do I want to continue watching this?
I feel
Yeah.
like that's a fair assessment.
Yeah. What are we in a time loop?
Yeah.
No, that actually it seems fair, and I bet for people who have kids, like home run, knuckle sandwich right to the face. So I'm sure this is pretty good. I'll be honest though, it wasn't really intriguing to me. But also, are they releasing like episode by episode, or do they drop all the episodes at one time?
Oh, I think they dropped it all one time. I don't recall.
Okay.
Couldn't
Not
say for
even.
certain.
You weren't even curious enough to see like how many episodes are out right now. Damn.
Didn't even look.
Damn, it's that good, huh?
Yep, so good. I just wanted to keep myself in eternal suspense.
Yeah.
There you go, and us as well. So, all right, cool. Knuckles is now out on Paramount Plus. I will check out the pilot. I'll have more thoughts next week.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. Because at the end of the day, I do also want to see Idris Elba interact with Keanu Reeves, my Lord
Yeah.
and Savior. So I think that would be pretty sick.
Yeah. Wait, who's
Yeah.
Keanu Reeves' voice supposed to be?
He's playing Shadow.
Oh, I know.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
maybe when they get to that point, then I'll be like, oh, sure.
Definitely.
Is
It's
that
like
in
Son-
this series? I thought that was like in the next movie. No.
That's next movie. Next movie.
Okay.
Oh,
But
okay,
like,
never
I
mind
have
then.
to assume Knuckles is going to be in the next movie if this takes place between Sonic 2 and Sonic 3.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. We will see. I'll check it out. Now,
Cool.
talking about another show that's based off a video game that has been crushing, we got Fallout. And Fallout 4 has now gotten a next-gen update, so you get it on Xbox Series X, S, X. It's one of those. I don't own one of those things. I want one. And then we also have PlayStation 5. So, Scott, you knew a little bit about this. What do they say?
Yeah. At first, I want to say I finally finished Fallout. Freaking awesome. So
Wait,
go,
you didn't watch
go
the
finish it.
series? When we...
I didn't even know it was
we-
out. No, I'm just joking.
That wasn't the question,
No, I
Scott.
Yeah, wait,
No,
what?
um,
There was a series?
I wasn't fully finished with it, and I was like, I'm gonna go back there. I had like 4 episodes in, but I just recently like fully finished it.
Oh, okay. Cool,
Really
cool.
great.
Mm,
Like I love how
yeah.
they tied everything in together. It's so good. If you haven't watched it, go do yourself a favor. Go watch it. It's great, and you don't even need to like really be familiar with the game. I feel like it does a good job explaining itself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any
absolutely.
user.
And I wasn't, because I wasn't. I didn't know shit about it except for like things that IGN was posting and everything, and I still felt like I
Yeah.
could follow along the whole way. It's
Yeah, for sure.
yeah. Oh, well done.
Yeah, it's cool. But yeah, so I watched. I haven't really played the games as I was just saying, but I did watch a video of this. Someone talking about the update, because as I guess everyone else who watched the show, this show's piqued interest in like maybe picking up the game, and like in like where I should pick up, what's the jumping point, for me.
Definitely.
And Fallout 4 has gotten sort of an upgrade. It's not a total like remaster, but they
Mhm.
fix some things from what the video I've seen. They're still really buggy, they said, but they fixed a lot
Yeah.
of things that weren't as great before. So, and it still
Mm.
looks pretty decent. It's just not like fully remastered. Don't think you're going in playing like the remastered Last of Us after playing the PlayStation 4 one.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
not to that degree,
Mm-mm.
but it does run pretty smooth and it looks really good and yeah, it still looks fun. And they also updated 76 since
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
last as well. And they kind of updated like they got some new areas you can go to. They
Oh,
have
wow.
actual NPCs now because apparently when they first launched there was no NPCs really.
Mm-mm.
So they
Really?
got
So
that
the
going.
towns were just blank, and you would just run around
Kind
and
of, I think they were like the only NPCs were like ones that were part of a mission, and otherwise it was just blank. Like so now they
damn.
just got like random ones and stuff, so it feels more full. Um,
Hmm.
and yeah, they open new areas, some kind of bigger areas, whatnot. So it seems like they're building on it, but um, it looks kind of fun. It is definitely RPG. So like
Mm.
you go around and you're like you're making decisions, talking to people, making the right decisions. It's kind of like it can be boring if you are someone that's like action all the time kind of thing.
Right.
Um, but yeah, it's still I think it's still it looks like it's worth jumping into if at least trying, if the show piqued your interest and whatnot. Seems like the game has a lot of rich Fallout extras that you'd probably like if you like the show.
There
That's what
you
I got
go.
from it.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah.
What is it called? Like the radiation stuff, like Ray Ban or something,
Uh,
where they when you get radiation
Oh, in
and
the
then they give
game?
you. Yeah.
becoming
Oh,
a
I'm not
ghoul?
sure.
No, no, it's like
Oh.
a thing where she starts getting the radiation. I don't know. That joke is way dead by now. The fact that
Oh, you were
none
trying to
of
make a
us
I
knew
didn't
joke?
know this was
it was gonna
joke.
lead into
My bad,
something
bro.
if you guys
Oh,
knew the
wow.
word, but nobody knew it,
Wow.
so that went way too far out of the way. Yeah. Does this make you guys want to go back and play this game? Like, should we all go get it? Should we get Fallout 4? Should we get Fallout 76? Like, because which one is the multiplayer one? Fallout 4?
Yeah.
76.
Oh, 76 is the multiplayer.
That
Yes, right.
that one's the multiplayer one.
Yeah.
And from what I've heard, like the video was I guess they were kind of highlighting a lot of the um I guess the faults in it, but he backpedaled and was like, don't get me wrong though, there's like so much to like about this game. It's just like it's a Bethesda game, so there are certain things to like it's always going to be there, certain kind of glitches, certain kind of things you kind of like, I wish they did this a little better,
Mm.
Yeah.
but from what I can tell it's still a fun multiplayer game. So
Damn. They
yeah.
just, man, when a show can be so good that it'll make you go back and play an old game or want to play an old game with, crappy graphics and noticeable glitches,
Yeah,
damn, that is just good storytelling, man.
heck yeah.
Yeah.
Just so good. And we're going to have to wait like another year or 2 years for
Oh,
it.
and
But
apparently there's another part of the video I watched, like, because the game, I guess it's pretty old. It's like 10 years old now, or maybe even longer.
Fallout
The
4?
the Fallout 4, it's like
Mm.
pretty
Holy
old.
crap.
But because of that, like people like Grand Theft Auto, there's like mods to the game and whatnot, and there's like a group of people or whatnot who like build a whole like Fallout 4 like UK or Fallout 4 London or something, and they're
Oh.
waiting for like the update to fully drop before they drop this mod. And the guy doing the video was like, I can't wait to do that because it's basically like a whole nother game the community's building now. So at the very
Yeah.
least, you got a strong community. And if you got a PC, you can like jump on all these different mods and play different styles of the game. So it's kind of like a game that never ends, So that's
Yeah.
pretty cool. You got like fanfic going on now.
Yeah, damn. I mean, and yeah, that's what Grand Theft Auto is. Now there's people just flying around like Goku and just smashing
Unreal.
up cars, and yeah, it's ridiculous. So yeah, it's a whole new level to the game, and it's practically a different game. So you're right. That sounds
Yeah.
sick. And that game also came out in 2015, so that was a minute ago.
A bit ago.
Yeah,
Ooh,
dude,
yeah.
November 10th, 2015. So, shit, yeah. I don't know. I'm down. I might download it. I might have to try it.
Yeah.
But okay, so I think that brings us into the review portion, and you are up again, Scott, because
Oh,
we
sick.
saw something that just returned to theaters, and I just remember loving this movie so much as a kid. Like I was a massive Brendan Fraser fan, and this franchise, he just crushed it. Like
Mhm.
I really liked him. He was definitely a leading man. I forgot what the British chick is who plays his love interest. Had a major
Ooh.
crush on her.
Yeah.
Rachel Wise.
That's
Yes, Rachel
right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Weisz.
Because she played like Black Widow's mom.
Yes.
But yeah, dude, this is great. So what was it like going back to the Mummy? Was the Mummy Returns, right?
No, it was the OG Mummy.
That was
Like
the OG one. Okay.
I think the Mummy Returns. I think that was the name of the second one. So this is the first one. I mean, the first one with Brendan Fraser.
Okay,
Um,
that's funny because I put the Mummy Returns, but literally I just meant the Mummy is
to
back
theaters.
in the
Yeah, yeah,
theaters.
yeah, yeah. That's what I gathered. Yeah, the Mummy's
Okay.
returns to theaters. But it was really good. This is a movie. Maybe you guys can relate, but there's always movies like when you're like, I don't know what to watch, but I'm gonna go to sleep. Something to fall asleep to. Throw on a movie. The
You
Mummy
put
is
on
like
the
in our
Mummy?
rotation for Christina and I.
Wow.
We both grew up kind of watching it, so it's like we can both like, yeah, this is kind of one to land on. Um, so it was kind of I was like, okay, cool, I'm gonna watch this in theaters. It's so much different watching in theaters. Like you kind of forget sometimes. Like the sound is like it's so underrated when you're just watching it at home. You're like, oh, okay, cool, whatever. But having that surround sound, the jump scares that like are coming, like hit harder because the sound is
The
like,
sound is
"Grr!" Like yeah, like even just the brother in the tomb going like scaring his sister in the beginning of the film. Like I knew it was coming, but it was louder than I thought. So I was like, oh shit, like I think like got me, which is
yeah.
great.
I mean, there's
um,
no doubt. If Christina like does like say I'm walking around a corner and
yeah,
she doesn't say anything, like I might be like, oh shit. But if she screams when I walk around the corner, I'm freaking jumping up in the air.
yeah,
Yeah. So I can imagine. And then like theaters usually have amazing sound systems, so
oh yeah,
that had to be. Plus, like the sounds of the Mummy itself, I guess, screaming or like when it there's a part, I don't know if this is in one or two, where it kind of like dislocates its jaw and like
yeah, yeah.
screams. I always remember that part freaking me out.
No, it
The-
does. Yeah. So yeah, there's a part where they first open it and he's like not alive yet, but his skeleton pops out and it's like, "Eh," and it's like his jaws all crooked. Yeah, and it was kind of creepy. And I'm like, man, I watched it. The last time I saw this movie in theaters was when I was 10 years old, and like I
wow.
remember it being the perfect amount of like creepy, but not too scary. So they
Yeah.
had like that excitement of like a Indiana Jones film, like our time Indiana Jones, and like yeah, like adventure, creepiness. Brendan Fraser was like the cool leading man, like badass, good
Right.
looking dude. Like
Yeah,
um,
and this was coming in off of like George of the Jungle or something. You
Yeah.
know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Like I
yeah.
remember George of the Jungle. I think that was like the first movie that I saw him in. And I was like, oh, I like this guy. And then there was Blast from the Past, and then it was this, and this was like the pinnacle of his stardom.
Oh
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Right?
yeah. And like all the other people like still kill it. Like the brother still hilarious, John Hannah. And like shoot, I gotta pull up this guy's the guy who plays freaking Benny, Kevin J. O'Connor, still crushes it. Like all his scenes are still really funny. You know what I like to do? What I also liked in this movie though, seeing it in theaters now, I noticed like I liked what they did with the shadows in this movie.
Hmm.
The lighting, like there's a part where Benny's like hiding behind the crates, and you can see a full silhouette of like him, like
Yeah.
his hat and his nose, and like you clearly know it's him, especially now because you know what he looks like when they pull him out. But
Mm.
there's just things I didn't really notice, or like even on the side, like while the mummy's doing something kind of creepy or whatever, like something's happening, you see like Benny and like Evelyn, the love interest, are like together because like the mummy's kidnapped her or whatever. And like
Mm.
Benny's trying to hide behind her and he's like touching her and stuff. And she's like, get off, like, get off me. Like, and I never noticed that before. And I just started laughing because I'm like, I always look at the mummy doing stuff. And like,
Yeah.
you see Benny like hiding and she's like, what? Get the fuck off me right now. I don't know. It's kind of funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
Something I
But
guess like
little
it
things
took a
like
big
that.
screen to notice. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's little things like that where you're like, damn, like a lot went into this movie, and it just adds to the overall movie too. Now,
Yeah.
like you're like, wow, they really did think of everything. I'm
Yeah.
sure are there any things that are like, oh, that's kind of outdated, or you're like, ah, I don't know if that works now, or you're like, no, it pretty much still stands.
I think it still stands, but if it was my first time watching it, some of the CG didn't age as well.
Okay.
Some stuff look cool, like it still works. But some stuff like in the title sequence is like the mummy, and then it's like, and then the way it goes away, like I'm like, you knew at the time, like, dude, this is a badass effect I'm gonna put on this like lettering,
Yeah, yeah.
and now it's just kind of like, oh, okay, you know,
Right. You're like, I could do that on my iPhone on TikTok.
yeah, like everyone can do that. Um,
Which is
but
crazy.
yeah,
to think
it is
about.
crazy to think, yeah, like while you're watching it and you're thinking like, wow, we've come a long way, like
Mhm.
this is like not the best.
Yeah.
There was a time when this was like the best. Like, how did you even do that? You
Yeah,
know?
yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Until it got to whatever the mummy was, the Scorpion King, where the Rock just
Oh.
looked like a Play-Doh doll with like
The one with
scorpion
Yeah.
Jet
legs.
Li too. The Jet Li one was kind of
That
Really?
one felt so different.
I
yeah.
don't even think I got to that one. Was that the last?
You don't need to
one?
watch it.
I don't
Yeah,
think I did.
it was like a trilogy. Wait, was that the third one?
No,
might
I
have-
think
'cause,
that's number
like-
4.
Oh, number 4. Because they had Scorpion King, and I was like, I think that's it. I think the franchise is dead. I was a snob
Yeah.
even back then, I guess. But like, it turned me off, or I got stung so bad. I think I just didn't want to go back.
It's by the Scorpion.
Yeah, that was bad. Oh, but yeah,
I love it. You tied it in though.
Yeah, I
but
tried.
yeah, it's cool. I mean, it made me want to watch like more old films like back in theaters. Like if you get, if you
Yeah.
get a chance to do it, like it is just kind of cool. And then you go. I went in with my sister and my mom, and like with that we were talking about like, she took us when we were younger, and we were doing the math, and I'm like, man, my younger brother and younger sister were like 5 and 6.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh, no wonder Daniel was afraid of this movie. Like, I can't imagine being a
Right.
5-year-old watching this movie, and a 10-year-old, you're like, come on, man. Like, everyone is like, you only see it your age.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyone younger, you're like, oh, you're just a wimp. But like,
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
dude, if I was a 5-year-old, I'd be terrified. Like, it's just kind of funny thing. And then we thought about, we're like, oh, this came out a year after Blade, and my mom took us to see Blade as well, because my uncle was like, oh, Blade's a Marvel character, like it's great. And then like when we went in, we were split. So I was sitting with my uncle with Jess. Yeah, and then my mom's sitting in the back with like a 4-year-old and a 5-year-old, and they're just freaking crying at the blood
They're in a
scene
blood
in the
rape.
beginning. And my mom's holding their eyes.
Yeah.
Like,
And
oh,
everybody's about to mob that first human that walks in.
Yeah.
And he's like, no. That movie still holds up, still scary as hell.
Yeah,
Like,
and still awesome though. It's like,
still great.
if the fighting wasn't as cool as it was, it'd probably be more of a scary movie for me,
True. Yeah, definitely. But man, what a time. Yeah, that's awesome. You got to see it. Brendan Fraser, like, I love that dude. I think he's still a tremendous actor.
Mhm.
And, seeing him at his prime, I think it's, it'll never get, maybe it should, but it's never going to get maybe the Indiana Jones effect where people look back as fondly on it. But maybe they should, because I think it's still, to your point, it probably still holds up. And, I think we can let CGI slide. We still all like Star Wars, so...
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a bad thing to say either, but I mean, Star Wars still is a fantastic movie. It's perfect, regardless of the CGI. So, man, that's cool. That's awesome you did that.
Yeah.
Now
for sure.
you're gonna be up again because we had talked about in our special episode before this one dropped, the Shogun finale. Go back and check out that episode. We had Derek from the Underrated Podcast on. It took every ounce of my being to not bring that up when you said underrated earlier. So like I give myself props. That was like me being a smoker for 10 years and like seeing a cigarette and like not lighting it up. So
Good
props.
on you, man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm so proud
Pat
of
yourself on the
myself.
back, dude.
Thank you. Only one I could do it because my fingers are shorter than the other one. But
Oh, wait.
you were finally able to also watch Shogun. What were your thoughts on the finale and the season?
I really loved the finale. It was weird. I went in thinking there was gonna be more action, but then I wasn't disappointed. I wasn't that disappointed by the end of it, if that makes sense. Like, as the episode was going on, I was like, oh, maybe there's gonna be a battle soon or something. But then I think the thing that stood out the most to me was one of the coolest parts was when Toranaga was talking with
Yabushige.
Yabushige. And Yabushige is like, hey, dude, I'm gonna die. So like, tell me like what's the plan? Like what like I gotta know. Like
Yeah.
I know you hate me right
I
now, but
felt
you don't
that
owe me
too.
this. But
I felt, yeah, I
yeah.
was like, just tell him, like, he's about to die. Just tell him the plan.
Yeah, and
And
then
then
we're
he,
like, cause then we'll know too. What's your plan? And
right.
like it was cool for him to be like, dude, in a month from now, I'm gonna win. And you're like, a month? Like what the fuck? And like they let
Yeah,
you like
how?
see it.
Right.
Yeah, and they let you peer into his mind, and he's like, this is exactly what's gonna happen. This is gonna happen, blah blah. They're gonna come, and then the war's not even gonna happen because he's not gonna have a banner to fly under,
Yeah.
and
Ishido's
it's
going to
you're
be
just like,
left
yeah, and
by,
you're like,
yeah.
holy shit, dude, this guy, and like I thought that was really cool because it kind of gave us like they could have done a flash forward and then showed us that exactly, but it was cooler to be like, let me just show you a little peek in my head and see what's going on, and you're like,
Yeah.
that's why he's fucking sick,
Yeah.
like this
Oh,
whole
man.
season, you know?
That's a good point, and that's something I don't think we really mentioned in our recap. Was that,
Mm.
yeah, that's the whole point of the show. Like the battle was already won. Like regardless, like you already knew you were gonna win the battle, and regardless if we got to watch that battle, it didn't
Hmm.
really matter because he already knew he had the upper hand because Ochiba had pulled away her forces.
Yeah,
So yeah,
yeah,
what were you
and I
gonna
think
say, Drake?
oh
Oh,
yeah, go.
Oh no, no, no. Mimicking what Scott's saying, like the fact that Toranaga is giving you this like kind of beautiful monologue, right? It doesn't have to end on the imagery of, because throughout the whole time, it doesn't matter whether or not you see the imagery. He's been doing it regardless of whether or not you've been aware of it. So,
Hmm.
right, man, what a smart show! Like so well done.
mm,
Yeah.
mm,
And I think that's why the whole season was great. I mean, like I loved every character, like every story arc they had throughout. Um
Who was your favorite character?
yeah. And is that the character you'd want to be in the show?
Ooh, that's a good question. Um
She's like, I want to be Nagakado.
which was not
That was the dude that slipped on a rock.
Yeah.
oh yeah. Like a boss. That was great. That was a very Game of Thrones moment. Holy shit, dude.
That was.
Oh my
That
gosh.
surprised the hell out of me. I'm like, whoa, whoa. That's and so I do understand the comparison to Game of Thrones, but it is not the same show by any means.
Yeah, dude.
No, yeah,
And
yeah. That was just one of those like I got that same reaction when real quick to go to Game of Thrones when the mountain crushes the Viper's head. When you're like, oh, it's
yeah,
gonna go one way, and you're like, no, no, what? Like it's just like this, like you get a immediate feeling of like, oh, like
yeah,
And I got that when he slipped his head, like, oh fuck, no, and he's just dying out, and you're like, oh my god, like you're just like you're just in it for a second.
yeah,
Um, yeah, that was like there was moments of that, but it's not really fair to compare it to Game of Thrones. They're totally different shows. But yeah, I don't know. Like it was weird. There was like one character. I definitely don't want to be this guy, but there this guy going back to Yabushige, he was a character that I like hated and then I kind of liked and then I hated him and then I kind of liked him and then
yeah,
like
yeah.
I hated him but I kind of liked I still hated him but I liked a certain part of him. Like even at the very end when he's like I know I'm a piece of shit. Like just tell me. Like
Yeah,
like
like
and then
come
like I
on.
felt for her like yeah just tell the guy man like
Yeah,
there was a
yeah,
time where you guys were bros. Like I don't know, you didn't even know him that, but this guy played that character so well. It
Mm-hmm.
made me go back and forth with him.
yeah,
Like feeling torn, because he's
yeah,
out
yeah,
for his
absolutely.
own, but then he also kind of like has to work for both sides because they both like hold power over him. So
Yeah.
like he's kind of torn, but also trying to look out for himself, like because he kind of have to. So you just can't really blame him, but you see him outside too when he gets power. He's kind of a piece of shit. So that's the
Yeah.
parts where you're like, I don't really like him.
Would
But
you
Yeah.
parallel him to, let's say, Adam Sandler's character in Uncut Gems?
Yeah,
kind of like in that way where
you
you're like, you
yeah.
know,
Drake, you really love it, Uncut Gems
I
this
love
week,
Uncut
huh?
Gems. So
just
I
good.
know,
me.
I know, I know. Yeah, I feel like any comparison you can make right now is gonna be Uncut Gems. And what do you mean by that? Like, how would you compare Adam Sandler's character to Yobushige?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
in the sense of like, you feel for the character, right? He's human. He wants to live up to the honor of being a samurai, but at the same point in time, he also wants things for himself. And in the culture that he lives in, he really can't do the things that he wants to do or could do in order to get to a place where he wants to get to. And
Mm,
so in kind of straying away from that traditional movement forward in that particular culture. He's doing things way outside the norm. And though he may have been potentially the freest character, um, he was then also cut down because he wasn't necessarily able to live within that society as a whole, right?
Yeah, he was like coloring too far outside the lines.
Yeah.
Yeah, to where it eventually came up, like caught up to him. Yeah, he was that character you just like love to hate and also just love sometimes, and then hate. You know, like it's
Yeah.
just he's so fun. He just all the faces he made, all the sounds he made. I'm gonna
Yeah.
hop off for a second. We
Like
got a
I
jet
I
flying by.
love oh I love seeing his face when he'd see other people get promoted or something, like he's just like he just fucking hates the situation. Like he yeah, this guy, he's just a great actor.
He
Um
is.
anytime he
Oh,
was on screen, I kind of wanted to see what was going on with him. I was
Thomas
rooting
and
for
I
him.
Yeah.
found out, but did you know he was in Thor?
Oh, is he one of the
Yeah, the Warriors
Yes.
3.
He's Hogun.
I didn't
Oh,
realize that.
I didn't realize that either.
Yeah, I was like, wait, why does he look familiar this whole time? It's because of Thor. He dies in Ragnarok. That's wild.
Oh, but facial hair, I'm sure he has different facial hair. Like facial hair does a lot to the person. Hair
A
in
little
general.
bit. He had the long hair in it. And he had a mace.
That's probably what it was. The mace have hair on it. I
Yeah.
didn't
Yes.
recognize
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah. You
It
couldn't
was called
recognize it.
Macy Gray.
There you go.
If you've seen Macy Gray, her hair. All right, all right.
No, I laughed. I
All
give
I
it
liked
up.
it.
Jeez
I liked it.
Louise, dude. Jeez Louise.
Dude, we laughed. We
Please.
laughed.
Yeah, dude. Fuck.
God.
It was a fantastic show. Hiroyuki Sanada crushed it. Anna Sawai
Mhm.
crushed it. Cosmo, I forgot what his last
That
name is. He
guy,
crushed it.
Jarvis.
Jarvis, yeah. What a sick name. I didn't know actually like real people had the name Jarvis. I thought that was only like a
AI.
comic thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or like an Iron Man thing, but
Yeah.
turns out it's a real thing. Ah, man, such a good show. And you're right. Like it subverted a ton of expectations, and I think talking to Drake and Derek, it really kind of like it makes me love it even more. And it's a show I want to go back and watch again.
Mhm.
Oh God, they just crushed it. That was such a good show.
Real quick, I don't know if you guys talked about it with Derek, but was there a character you guys? I mean, they're all great. I love them all, but was there a character you liked the most
Yeah, I
or
gotta
identified
go.
with?
Yeah, well, I don't know about identified with, but I gotta give it up to Mariko. I think
Okay,
she
cool.
like won me over the most because
Yeah.
she was so cold and all that, but at the end, like her giving up her whole life to fulfill the purpose, to realize like, oh, there's 3 times where she almost dies in episode 9,
Mhm.
and it's yeah, there's 2 different times, but basically we know where she dies at the end, getting blown up and everything, and that's where she fully submits to, okay, I'm done,
Mhm.
and I just think, yeah, I don't know, there's just beauty, like, and everything she's saying, like, there's purpose in life and there's purpose in death, and for her to really find that purpose in her last moments, I thought was just incredible. And the way she even acts with Buntaro, which we didn't talk a lot about, I think, in our review, I thought that relationship was really interesting because it showed the dynamic of like getting married and how like marriage gets you to a different status, but also like she was kind of in a loveless marriage and she finally found someone that she loved but probably would never have been able to be with. So there was
Mhm.
so much complexity there, and I think she delivered on all of it. She and
Definitely.
so I crushed it.
And
Yeah.
she's like, yeah, I know Yabashiki had like really big, funny expressions all the time, like and wore it like really big. But she
Mhm.
was probably the best at the micro expressions. Like
Totally.
she crushed it with all that.
Dude,
Yeah.
the tea scene. I always think about the tea scene where her and Blackthorn went in there. The Anjin went in there,
Mhm.
and the way the tea lady was just kind of like manipulating everything and talking to her, but like kind of trying to pass on the message to him so that they
Mhm.
could kind of communicate. That scene was incredible. I really
Yeah.
loved the way that was written out, and
It was a great
yeah.
transition because that's my favorite character is Kiku, the courtesan, the most
She is
beloved
great too.
courtesan,
Yeah.
and she's
Was
played
that
by
the top one that
No,
was
no, no.
running?
The top one was the older lady who took the stick of time with
Right, right.
Toranaga. Uh, Kiku was the super hot girl that everybody was in love with. The
Is-
the top
Yeah.
courtesan. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mm, yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
that's right.
Yeah.
That what was it? Hiro Hiromutsi or something like that. Hiro something. His like nephew, right? Or
Yeah.
no, it was Yabashige's nephew, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he was underrated actor too. He crushed it.
he did
He
great.
didn't really like the moments that he was in really shine. Like he really did the most without having as much time as everybody. Damn,
Hmm.
that's a good call, Drake. I like that. Well,
Yeah,
hell yeah. Well,
amazing
that
call.
was Shogun and a great show. If you haven't watched it, go back and watch it. It's 100% worth it to read the subtitles and to see a slice of life and history that was just incredible. And like to think that we're here because of this time period is so wild to me. I mean, it's just yeah, so well done.
Hmm.
All right, Drake, why don't you take it away on Dead
Oh,
Boy Detectives that just dropped on Netflix?
oh dang. So we all kind of discussed Neil Gaiman and the Sandman, and this is another
One of my favorite
banger
shows.
from this Sir Neil Gaiman and Vertigo Comics. Um, Man, what a show. I didn't going into it, I was like, I like detective shows.
Hmm.
Maybe this would be like, a fun little thingamabob. And I was like, oh,
Can,
interesting.
can we call you Detective Drake from now
Yeah,
on?
yeah, Detective Drake. I love it. It flows right off the tongue. It's illiterate. Not illiterate, but
Yeah.
alliterate.
Well, I'm pretty illiterate, so
Yeah, that's okay.
no,
So,
I messed it up too. God damn it! No,
son
I'm,
of a
I'm
bee.
not on track tonight. T- Keep going.
But these Dead Boy Detectives essentially it's a fictional detective duo, and the characters are ghosts of two dead children, and children loosely, they're in their late teens, Charles Rowland and Edwin Payne, and rather than be dead, they stay on Earth to become detectives investigating supernatural crimes. Now, in the actual show, this cast is super interesting because you have the two dead boys, George and Jaden,
Hmm.
The boys.
and they're to us they're relatively new just because they mostly focus within the UK realm. And we have another fantastic actress, Yu Kitamura, who plays Nico, and Cassius Nelson, who plays Crystal Palace, who are two of the main drivers of the story total.
Hmm.
And then you have another, I guess, secondary character, but very present, Brianna Cuoco. She plays Janie Green. She is Haley Cuoco's sister from Big Bang
What?
Theory.
Oh,
Yep.
No
And Brianna
way.
also voices Batgirl on
Harley Quinn.
the Harley Quinn. Yep.
oh, cool.
Yeah.
So we've
Huh.
got
That's
some
sick.
really good actors and actresses. The dialogue is very good. You know me. You know when I don't like teen shit.
Oh,
And
I know.
Yeah. Oh, we know. It's been
yeah,
said.
I
Hmm.
fucking hate stupid
Hmm.
teens, stupid drama bullshit. And this
Mhm.
doesn't do that. But they're put into positions where there is like a love triangle, there is a love interest, there are aspects that teens would get into, but it pushes past that, and that you don't even notice in the dialogue, the blocking, the scenes, etc.
Hmm.
And so they're going through this process of we're detectives. We find Crystal Palace. She's a medium, and now we can enhance our detective agency, et cetera, et cetera. There's all these little quirks to the world, as Neil Gaiman does, where there's like they're constantly running from death because death wants to take them.
Is it
Edwin's
is it the same death from the Sandman?
um
It's like Death's
yes,
sister that was
it
played by that
is.
black.
She was
It
a black
is.
woman. Yes, it is.
Oh
Yep,
shit! Hell
it
yeah.
That's
is.
cool.
Yep.
That's sick. It
Yeah.
directly ties to the Sandman then.
Yes. And
Wow. I think you just told me right there.
to be honest, like all the little quirks and nuances, uh, it was like a more playful-ish Sandman. Um, man, man, it was real good. It was real good. Every little
Nice.
quirk and detail. There's a witch in it, Esther Finch, and she reminds me of Catherine's character in Schitt's Creek, Catherine O'Hara.
Oh, what?
Oh,
She's just like over the
she
top and
she's over the top, but she's like villainous, and she's got that kind of like funny wordplay that Catherine O'Hara did in Schitt's Creek, and she's a bad guy, but she's like it's just funny. Some of the things um, are just there's hilarious moments, there's into it moments. Um, yeah, I think you're gonna once you watch the first episode, you're gonna watch it all through, and you're gonna enjoy every single moment of it.
damn,
hmm.
hell yeah.
Do they Did they explain why they wanted to become detectives in the afterlife?
Yes,
Like,
they
is that
do.
okay? Is that
So
something they like doing when they were alive or something?
I think it's so with Edwin,
Mm-hmm.
Edwin Payne's situation. Uh, it's very funny. So I
Okay.
think you'll want to kind of wait to see their backstory. Same thing with Jaden's is
Cool.
less funny. It's
Mm,
way more serious, but it's definitely a driver to why they're doing the thing that they're doing.
Oh,
They're
cool. Cool.
doing it
Okay.
because they want to make a difference. And,
okay.
being young kids, not necessarily being able to make a difference because they perished so young. Um, they're they're moving through the idea of what it would have been like if I had continued to do this and do that moving forward, and
Huh.
made an impact. But they're hundreds of years old now because they're ghosts, right? So it's a very interesting premise.
Damn.
Yeah,
Leave
interesting.
it to Neil Gaiman to find like another way of spinning this ethereal, endless life, and finding like a unique way to do it and make it deep but also like entertaining. Freaking Neil Gaiman, like he must have like the craziest nightmares. Like his nightmares must be fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
I know, right?
Like,
I do not
yeah.
want his nightmares.
No, thank you.
No, I don't either. Because, like, if he's just thinking about this stuff when he's awake, like, what is it like when he's dreaming? It has to be insane.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right.
I love me some Neil Gaiman, so I'm super on board with this. Well, right on. Well, I think that leads us into quickly before we jump into our last topic of the night, which
Mm-hmm.
is X-Men 97 episode 7.
You.
I'm just going to briefly talk about Baby Reindeer cuz I didn't know I was going to really like watch this. I saw it was like #1 on Netflix. And I clicked on it. And yeah, you mentioned it, Drake, from the first episode. You're hooked. This is very much that. It's just a weird premise. A guy who works in a pub. This girl that he's not really attracted to, seems to be graying, seems to be kind of losing everything. Is just like over the top. Just laughs at all of his jokes. Like way too into him for a guy who's like, I'm just working a bar. Like, okay, chill out. But slowly she starts like really stalking him,
Hmm.
and it's just really interesting how it goes about. And then you find out more about him. He is trying to become a comedian, but he does like a really off brand of comedy. And it's written and directed by this guy, and it's kind of his real life story. This dude, Richard Gadd. And it's kind of his true story. But then episode 4, everything changes. Like everything that you kind of thought about him and his situation and things that he's gone through, well, it gets flipped on its head,
Hmm.
and it just opens up a whole new. That's kind of a bad pun. You'll get it later. Opens up the door to what he experiences from then on. So for the people at home who probably have watched this, they're like, man, that was messed up, but it is what it is. So it's really crazy. I really see why this is blowing up. Like I
Okay.
get why people are interested in it. It has these elements of like things and issues going on in the modern world. But if you're looking for a comedy, because I was like, oh, comedian, like let's see how this goes. There is some of that, but when it gets heavy, it gets fucking heavy, like really intense.
Okay.
But it's based off of his real life, and I can't believe the dude went there and showed his whole life in this way. It's something that I don't know if I would feel comfortable with, and
Mm-hmm.
for being a comedian, damn, does he go to like some really dark, serious places. So
Okay.
yeah,
Because
holy shit, man. I if you have the stomach for that kind of stuff, there is some sexual violence, there is a lot of like depression and that kind of stuff in here. So you're forewarned with that, but if you can handle some of that, man, this knocked me out. I was surprised.
yeah. Does it stay in reality? This show? Or
Yeah, very much
okay.
so.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. There's some times where you think you're like, oh, he's imagining this. This has to be an imaginary situation because this is so fucking crazy. And then it's like, nope, that really happened.
Yeah.
And there's repercussions from it, and yeah, and there's twists and turns. Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
when you think it's gonna go a certain way, or you're like, oh, well, all he has to do is like tell the police, or all he has to do is like find a piece of evidence or whatever. It zigs when you think it should zag, and I mean,
Ooh.
Drake's smarter than me, so he probably could have figured out where it was going to do that, but it caught me blindsided a handful of times, and
Ooh.
it was really good. It was really, really well done. And again, he wrote and created this show based off his own life, and it's insane what he decided to put out there from his life. It's wild. It's wild. So check it out. Yeah, highly recommend it.
Is this like a rated R, rated PG-13 sort of thing, or?
I think it's pretty rated R.
Okay.
It's
Heads up,
definitely
guys.
Yeah. And yeah, like it was one of those shows, like Christina is very much in, we've talked to anyone but you, we've talked about it a lot. I know you've just been able to recently watch it, Scott, but she's like been in that zone, like rom-com zone. And she watched this. Yeah, she watched this thinking like, TikTok's talking about it. This is going to be fun.
Yeah.
Some heavy shit. It starts off kind of light, but it doesn't stay there.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, watch it. Check it out. Baby
I'm gonna check
Reindeer.
it out. I am intrigued.
This is wild. So yeah, very much so. Like Netflix is still crushing it. Yeah, don't like the binge drops, and the reason why I don't like binge drops as much is because of this next show that we're talking about, which is X-Men '97. I think that the fact that it's episodic and that every week, we get a new episode and it allows us the public discourse on this show is unlike anything I've seen in a long time. People are freaking out about this kind of all over the internet. And I mean, Forbes says it is the best Marvel show. It's the best show that Marvel's ever done. And I want to agree with it. I know I'm biased because I'm a super fan. And I'll probably have an X tattooed somewhere in my body in the next few years.
Hey,
Yeah. X marks the spot, if you know
We
what I
know
mean.
where.
your crotch.
Right? Yeah,
Yes.
exactly there.
Yeah.
Exactly. We'll see, dude. I don't know. Would you ever get it? How much
We know
would
where the
it,
treasure is, bro.
How much would it take for you to get an X tattooed on your penis, or just a tattoo on your penis?
Like a freckle?
No. It's got to be like, let's say,
Like complete
let's say
blackout?
a quarter size. Okay,
It's a big freckle, dude.
It's got to be on the shaft, or
It has to be somewhere. Yes, shaft down. 100.
how much?
1,000, 2,000, 5, 10,
Dang.
100, 100,000, 250,000. You would do it for 250,000? 500,000? Okay,
Keeps
as
pointing
Scott
up.
points. Yeah, for the audio listeners out there.
Oh,
a
man.
million. Okay, 750,000 final offer.
Final
What
offer.
can I guess, dude? Jeez.
You guess.
Okay.
Wait, the tattoo.
Yeah, of
we don't
course,
have to
dude.
pay for
What
the
the hell?
tattoo, and we get 750.
Yes, you don't have to pay for the tattoo.
Yeah, but even if you had to pay for it, that's funny.
Yeah, I know, like whatever. Yeah, you gotta pay $500 to make
Tattoo
750,000.
is $600,000. So
Dude, yeah.
Dude.
come
Are you
on,
still
man.
in?
You got me.
I don't know. Maybe if I had, I feel like.
Yeah, I would. $750,000? What?
Yeah.
What are you talking about, dude?
All right. Jeez, Yabushige, relax.
You don't gotta show anybody. You don't want to.
Sure.
All
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Well, you gotta show
exactly.
us, because you gotta. How else are you gonna get the money?
What, you're both involved?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crowd
I guess it's
advance,
the
dude.
crowdfunded. All the people who crowdfunded get to see your penis.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, that would change a few things. I'd
Yeah.
probably do it for less.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, okay. So 750. Drake, do you have a final answer?
I
Of
mean-
course, 750. But I just
Obviously,
wanna
I'd
see
like
how
it
high
for
you
it to
go.
go higher. Like I
Yeah,
think,
yeah, but-
but if I can choose what it is, it's pro bono. They also do the caring for it as well too. Then sure, why not?
Who's they? The tattoo artist?
I don't know. Depends on.
Are they gonna cover touch-ups?
They're gonna cover touch-ups.
Because I want
They're
that
gonna-
color to last,
Yep.
bro.
They're gonna put some aquifer on it. So all the things.
There you go. There's some added benefits to this one. I'd probably do it
Major.
for 250. I'm not gonna lie.
250.
even that's-
Dang.
That's pretty
$250.
good.
250,000. I would do it for
Yeah, yeah.
250,000 for sure. Definitely.
I mean, that goes a long way, you know.
Yeah.
It would have to because hey, you know where the tattoo's going.
Right in the penis.
Oh.
All right, so in
Jeez.
episode
Oh,
7,
the tattoo needs to be the amount of money you're getting.
Oh.
So
Tattoo needs
you
to-
want zeros, bro. Let's go down the shaft, bro.
Dang.
wow, there you go. They'd have to draw those circles.
Or
real small.
looping it around
Yeah.
to millions, you know?
You just have a ring.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jeez. Yuck.
Yeah, we went there.
We went there. Okay, let's get into episode 7 because I really dug this one. It takes place in the aftermath of Genosha, and we're caught up with Rogue. We get Rogue introing this episode, and man, I really liked this one. I thought this was such a good episode. We were back to form where I didn't love episode 6 as much as I would have liked to. This one I loved, and it brought us back to wow. They're crossing some lines. Some lines are being X'd out, and man, it just was really good. What are your guys' thoughts on episode 7? I think it was called Bright Eyes.
Yeah, it was.
Nice.
Really good.
Oh.
It was a really, really good.
Right.
I like that it starts in the fields.
Yeah, with the funeral of Gambit.
Yeah, it's already heavy. And I like that the show like it's cool that it's based off this like again, I know we said this before, but it's based off this cartoon that we grew up with, and now they're writing it in a way where it's still that cartoon, but we get to experience it better as adults. Like I don't know if watching a cartoon because we had a discussion like is this for kids or not?
Mm-hmm.
Just like the line where Jubilee's like, "Where's Rogue?" Like, I thought she loved him. Like, like this is like heavy subject. Like,
Right.
why isn't she here? And it's like, hey, everyone deals
grieves
with
in that
pain
way.
differently, Like,
Yeah.
and you're like, man, this cartoon is like moving me. Like, I really enjoy that.
Totally.
And then and then it cuts to Rogue, like just like it's a combination of like thinking like, wow, this is really cool seeing her just go and wreck things, but at the same time, like you feel for her and you're sad for her. She's just like doing whatever it takes to like get answers, and
Yeah.
with that, you're meeting cool characters, but they did a really good job balancing like new things that you want to continue seeing in the show, whether it be new characters and whatnot, and like dealing with what's at hand. They're not brushing anything under the rug. Everything that happens is going to be addressed.
Yeah.
They're crushing it. It's crazy.
Yeah, exactly. It's like it finds a way to keep you intrigued, even though, I mean, I guess it is subverting your expectation, but it not in a way that Shogun does, where you have to peel back the layers to find the message, and it's there if you think about it, right? But this is you don't have to like search as hard, and yet it's still fascinating, intriguing, and interesting, and like still keeps you engaged every week. It's pretty wild. Drake, what was your thoughts on this episode?
I really enjoyed kind of seeing everything culminate from the last few episodes. I really kind of enjoyed the direction overall. The person directed is Emi Yonemura, and she did art on Batman: The Killing Joke, and she directed Genlock, which was a animated show that had like Maisie Williams and Dakota Fanning in it. Um, Obviously, she did some of the storyboard for Harley Quinn. I say that obviously, and it's like not really.
Yeah, I was like, that would have not been obvious to me.
But it's a
I mean,
it's a person who's been doing not only art, but art in new functional ways, and also a lot of DC and Marvel content that we love, that we actually enjoy, right? Batman
Yeah.
and Superman, Battle of the Super Sons. She was part of that storyboard artist situation as well too. So
Damn, that was a good one.
I really saw like the level up in terms of the direction and who they've gotten to implement what they're trying to do, and it's obviously showing when you're having great direction, great art.
Right. It's
Art?
weird. Yeah, it sounds like
Yeah.
there should be an S at the end of it, but
Yeah.
yeah.
And also like carrying on from that original series, making better on it, improving it, etc. I just can't say enough about X-Men '97 and how it's really showing how to improve on classic.
Yeah. The way it does Rogue's story in this episode really did catch me off guard. Because, I mean, you gotta love her accent. Super iconic, but, that accent can come across maybe silly, or I don't know if silly is the right word, but you know what I mean? Like, not as serious in a way,
Mhm.
and like with her saying sugar and stuff, but you see like Lenore is just crushing it. You can like hear her pain. You can hear how like angry she is and mad, and every step she gets, it seems like she's getting closer, but then it leads to another step. And I like that premise in it. Again, where you guys were talking about it, like literally throwing in video game moves, crushing those tanks, like literally from Marvel vs. Capcom. Like the attack she was doing with that scissor kick or that straight kick was out of
Yeah.
that video
And
game.
when she's like, "Deesh."
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, watch that on YouTube because your fingers did it perfectly. But that we get Thunderbolt Ross, which again looks like William Hurt from the MCU, furthering this MCU connection. And then that leads to Gyrick, that leads to Captain America, where the music literally kicks in from the Winter Soldier. Yeah, the Winter Soldier movie. That was pretty cool. I love the fact like where she's like, okay, if you don't want to support us, you're not on our side, then you don't need this, and just yeets his freaking shield
Yeet.
1,000 miles away.
No, yeah, she said. He said, I'm playing it. I gotta
I'm playing
play
by the
within the
books.
rules or something like that, or by the
Yeah.
books. Yeah, and he's like, well, if that's what you're gonna do, yeah. I'm just like,
Then you
yeah.
don't
Oh my
need
god,
this.
I thought it was gonna be like show the mountain like "Doosh," or something, but
Right.
we just don't know where it went. It just fucking got for, and immediately made me go like, he's got like a beacon on that thing, right? Like
Right,
he can't be the
right.
first time he lost that shield or something.
His face says it all, but I was thinking the same thing. I was like, how the hell is he gonna find that?
He's like, it's
Like,
coming
does he
back.
have a vibranium detector? Like, he better have a tracker on it. 'Cause
Sounds
He's
that's
like,
sensitive.
shield return, and it just like flies back when she's gone or some shit,
right.
something.
He's got an air tag on it. He went to like the Apple
Yeah.
store before.
He's in the snow just looking for it with his Apple
Yeah.
phone.
Like it says it's in the area. What? I just turned left. Turn left.
He's on Apple
turn
support.
left.
Your tag says it's here. Where's? Yeah.
But yeah, it just I love that. It was such like a bitchy move, and I'm here for it. It was sick.
Yeah.
We go to Mexico City, and then you get like a really kind of like sweet moment between her and Nightcrawler, where they both like Mystique is actually Nightcrawler's father in the comics, mother, whatever you want to say. But then Rogue is the adopted daughter of Mystique. And so I like that they kind of made that connection because I don't think they ever brought that up in the
Yeah.
animated series. So seeing that connection between them I thought was really great. And then she looks up and she sees the rest of the team behind her. I was like, fuck yeah, like her family's there, like
Yeah.
they're here for her. It's so cheesy to say, but it was like, man, those moments where they're just kind of leaning on the wall and like Wolverine's doing Wolverine things and Morph is like being his BFF, and then Cyclops is standing like a total Chad, but it works for the situation. Like
Right.
it just is like it's just doing everything you want. It's sometimes complete fan service, but it does it in a way that you're just like, fuck yeah, like this is perfect.
I mean, even to the point where what is it? Nightcrawler tells her like, "You didn't kill Gambit and Magneto. You helped them live." She's like, "Ugh." Like, and I was like, "Oh man, good line, Nightcrawler." Like,
Dude, oh my god, I know. Nightcrawler's lines in this episode too.
He's
Where
so
talking
damn wise.
Gambit.
Yeah.
In the beginning, it was like, a guy who always thought his sins, made him a villain, but actually those were the things that made him a hero. You're like, what? Like,
yeah.
yes. Or, somebody who always knew, was so focused on probability, never realized all the possibilities. You're like, what? Like, this is actual poetry now.
Yeah, I know.
And, oh man. So yes,
Crushing that funeral.
it is. This show is making me crushing that funeral. Yeah, freaking Nightcrawler rocked that funeral
He's like,
so
"I fucking
hard,
nailed
bro.
it, Mom."
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, wherever you are. I'm pretty sure she was
Wherever.
on Genosha. I'm throwing that out there. But
Yeah, he's leaving a
Man.
message.
on an air tag on the shield
Yeah.
somewhere in the rubble.
Yeah.
But man, really, really well done. I love this episode, and we finally see that Rogue crosses the line, right?
Mhm.
Like she's kind of threatening once she finds is it Gyrick or is it Trask? No, when she finds Trask, she's gonna like end it all. And
Yeah.
yeah, we kind of see her drop drop Trask off the side, like fully ready to kill him. Like, I don't know. What do you guys think about this scene? Was this too much for the X-Men, or was this like, yeah, this is the direction it needed to go?
It was the direction it needed to go. I think that, I mean, why have it any other way would be my question.
Yeah. No, I like it. I think this is where I could see where people would have a pushback, much like Batman doesn't kill or Superman doesn't kill. You know, it's like, well, the X-Men have now crossed that line. They're no longer just protectors; they're soldiers or murderers. You know,
Yeah.
and it seems like not everybody was on board with that, but
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, but there's a lot of fucked up stuff that happened within the X-Men in the comics all the time, you know? Like,
totally. And
so
even
like,
within this show already,
yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it called for, and I think the immediate address of it, I forget who said it, but they were
a
like,
morph.
yeah, is this what we've become? Like, you know, like,
Yeah.
and that I think that was great because it's like it makes sense for Rogue to do that, you know. And then Wolverine, of course, it's like it's like a division. Who sides what? He's like, this is what we all wanted to do, and then the other guy's like, whoa, 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 like, come on, dudes, like, we're better than this. And I was like,
Yeah.
this is perfect, like, and it made sense. Like, she's probably in the most pain, you know, she's at peak pain right now.
Right.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
PP, if you would.
PP.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting that she dropped him right away, though. Like, I thought maybe she'd try and interrogate him a little more, and as soon as he was like, nah, she's like, yeah, good, and like just drops him, like, like, oh, you don't want any more answers, okay.
Yeah,
But
that's all I needed.
yeah, but it was cool. I mean, it leads up to the next scene, which is that surprised me, especially with the way they introduced it with the flash of it. I forget what she was saying, but then she gets punched super hard.
Yeah.
That was nuts. Yeah.
She got Falcon punched, and
She
like the whole
got Falcon
building,
punched, dude.
yeah, the whole building explodes. Really cool again too, where Cyclops is like, "I'll get the rubble, you get the building," and then Jean just yeets the building, showing like, damn, I just love again. I feel like I say this every week, but I mean it. Like we're seeing like the upper level of all these characters, even like in the beginning of the episode where, Thunderbolt Ross says like this building was designed to keep the Hulk in. And then she goes, oh, my daddy always said it's easier to break into prison than to get out of it. And it's just like a cool thing, but we got to see Rogue's max power, so to speak. But we also get to see, like, Jean can lift a whole building if she really wants to try. So that was pretty wild.
Yeah.
But it's still not enough to beat Trask, who's now what's called a Prime Sentinel. And we get hints to it all episode with the OZT, which stands for Operation Zero Tolerance. That is run by Bastion, and we find out Bastion is the villain. But before that, somebody comes in to save the X-Men from the Prime Sentinel, Oliver Trask. And yeah, someone can take it away on who that is. Unless you guys don't know what I'm talking about, which it's Cable.
Cable TV?
Cable comes in and saves them.
Oh.
Yeah, okay, yes. Thanks.
Nailed it.
Thanks for the backup.
Dude, I
you
forgot
got it.
Cable did that. I was like, who the fuck comes in?
Oh, shit. Yeah.
No, but yeah, that's right. He does. He comes in, and then
He doesn't give two shits that Cyclops is dad, by the way.
that's what I thought that was pretty hilarious. They were like, oh, like Cyclops is
Yeah.
still in the feels of like, my wife is dead.
son.
Oh my god, my son. He's like, all right, Dad, take it the fuck easy, dude. Like grow up, bro.
Yeah.
He's, you know what, too? He's also like way older than his dad.
Right.
That's true, yeah.
So he's like, you're like
Yeah.
a kid, like, which is kind of crazy.
Which I love that. It like very rarely. I don't know. I can't think of another thing where like a son gets to come back. I'm sure it's there. I'm sure in the Terminator series they've done this, but like where
Jesus.
the son, Jesus is
OG
now older
story,
than
bro.
God.
Yeah, dude. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the son, right?
I think he
We're
said
getting
Jesus
biblical
after the
here.
son gets to come back.
Yeah.
But when you said
Oh, 'cause
older
it's
after, then it's
oh,
like
no.
different. Yeah.
You're right. He does get to come back, but I meant get to come back older than their dad.
Oh, okay, you're right,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Maybe not Jesus. Maybe not Jesus.
Okay, maybe not him. Older? Maybe not him.
I was like, wait, what?
You know,
but
right.
dude,
Yeah.
What is
nice.
time?
Yeah.
God.
Looper? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, man, I think that was a great part, and I think we've even seen it. Marvel dropped a new trailer for like the last trailer of the season, and we see that Cyclops, Cable, and Jean are all like busting into somewhere. But yeah, he don't give a shit. Like he's like, Dad, get over it. We got shit to do.
I know. Yeah, he freaking drops that electromagnetic cluster grenade. I was
that
like,
what he
"Shit,
called
that's
it?
fucking cool." Yeah, he's like, "It's
Wow.
electromagnetic cluster." I'm like, dude, that's a mouthful. Shorten that
Yeah,
up.
I
Dude,
know.
we
But
need that Helldivers though. I
oh
want
yeah,
that.
dude.
I
Yeah,
definitely want
you didn't
that.
think I thought about that when I saw that. I was like,
I
"Oh, we gotta
did.
get that in the game." Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But man, so I think there's one last bit, right? And we see, oh, Sinister talks to Sebastian,
Hmm.
and then we also see Bastion has kidnapped Magneto. Like,
Yeah.
I think we've talked about it. We kind of called it out in some ways that there was a villain above Sinister. So it's cool that we got the answer that it was Bastion. What do you guys think about Bastion so far as a villain? And yeah, what's your take on him? You don't care, Drake?
I mean, I like that there's like a hierarchy to it. I like that we're seeing, a little bit of power levels, but I just need to see more. I need to see more. I wanna feel the girth of his villainy, right? I mean, obviously we've read about him and we know some of the backstory, but I just
Yeah,
I wanna see it more in the show now.
Well, if he gets that
totally.
tattoo, you'll see it, dude.
Yeah,
Yeah.
The
that's true.
girth.
The
No, but
girth.
for me, I thought they kind of did tap into that. It felt very jokery in the end when he's shaving
Mm,
Magneto and he's talking to him in that way, like basically like the more you obey, the less it's gonna hurt. But
Hmm.
like the I kind of forget the exact wording and all that, but it was extra creepy to see Magneto just kind of like submitting, whether it be like just to like wait for an opening or not.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean,
it
he
still
had
looked
no choice either
he
because he
has
had
no
no
choice, right?
powers.
And he's just like casually shaving his face. Like that's like the weirdest fucking bad guys doing weird things casually is creepy. So
yeah,
It
that's true.
is,
like
yeah. And you throw
yeah.
in like a happy song in it, like
Oh
the
yeah.
one-eyed, one-horned purple
Flying
people
purple
eater.
people eater. Was that what was
Yeah,
playing?
yeah, that's what it was playing.
Oh yeah.
And then
See?
it
It's
like
like
it does make it extra creepy, but also to threaten Magneto with a device that he would normally be able to control better than anybody else
mhm.
is kind of interesting. I like that idea of like he's using a metal blade to kind of fuck with Magneto.
Yeah.
So
Crazy.
yeah,
Like I could kill you at any moment with this thing right
yeah,
now. Yeah.
exactly. That part was pretty cool. Bastion's played by Theo James too, which a lot of people know him from The White Lotus. He was in season 2. He
Mm,
played one of the one of the husbands of the wives on the trip, opposite Aubrey Plaza, and then
Okay.
he's recently been in The Gentleman, which is a really big show on Netflix too. So getting him in there as this character, like, damn, he had a really creepy way of delivering lines and was very like kind of quiet and subtle, which I dug.
Yeah.
But yeah, I also like how he kind of threw some shade on Sinister, where he was
Hmm.
like, "Oh, you and the bad guys have been failing since '92," and it's like
Yeah.
kind of like not throwing shade at the classic show, but kind of using that history too to be like, "Look, you haven't been getting it done. I needed to evolve or be here to step up because you guys couldn't do it."
Yeah.
I kind of like that. I like that nod.
For sure. And what's cool for at least for me in particular, I'm not too familiar with Bastion, and it is kind of cool to because we kind of know a lot about bits and pieces of whatever show we're watching usually. Um, it was kind of cool to be like, oh, like this guy's creeping me out, and I don't really know much about him.
Hmm.
And I'm interested to like learn more now, like about the big bad villain, like what makes him so strong, what makes him whatever, versus like, oh, they got apocalypse, I know where this is going, or something like that.
Right.
Um, yeah, I don't know too much about, and then immediately, I kind of went up and read up some stuff about him, but I also kind of see where the show takes him.
Hmm.
So like, I'm really excited for that. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure. And I think the hints have been there the whole time. Like in the last 2 episodes, we saw
Hmm.
that Nimrod was kind of in the chest of the Master Mold in the
Hmm.
opening sequence. And the way Bastion is created is because Master Mold and Nimrod merge.
Right.
I don't know if they're gonna go with the pure, what is it, Siege Perilous, which is like a gateway that like merges. It has a side effect of like merging whoever gets transported through it, which is how Bastion is created. But
Hmm.
or like resetting your life or giving you a wish, or whatever. It's like another like Marvel MacGuffin,
Hmm.
but that's how Bastion's created. So I like that they've kind of been nodding. If you were like, which which on challenge accepted, I feel like I did kind of throw that out there like weeks ago. Where I was like, I feel like Bastion could be involved because they keep showing Nimrod in the Master Mold chest,
Hmm.
and yeah, it turns out it was. So
Good
that was
call, man.
cool. Yeah, I think they've been doing a really good job of just kind of like teasing you with little things, whether you realize it or not, and like the answers are there. And I don't know, who doesn't like a good Easter egg in a Marvel thing or whatever, in a superhero thing? So yeah, it's been pretty sick.
Yeah.
And shout out to Morph for turning into Quicksilver for a little bit.
All day.
That
dude.
was sick.
That was sick.
Day.
Yeah. So the director or like the showrunner kind of said Morph can turn into anybody who has physical powers and copy their powers. So you can't turn into like Storm and create like storms, or you can't turn into Iceman and like shoot.
He
I
can
gave
look
the
like
two
them.
examples where their name was just the shit they could do. You know, like that didn't feel creative at all. But
You
like,
can't turn the lightning punch and do lightning punches.
yeah.
So
You can't create, you can't turn to Sunfire, create fire. It just, whatever. But yeah, but like we've seen it. He's been a lot of like physically powerful mutants, and the Quicksilver one was so sick. That was amazing.
yeah, that was cool.
Yep. So
Yeah.
we're in the end game now. There's 3 episodes left. We'll see if there is a tie-in to the MCU as a whole. But the last 3 episodes, I think, are like part 3 of E is for Extinction. Or it's something like that. They're calling it Tolerance is for Extinction, which is a play on 2 different comic book runs that it seems like they're meshing together. E is for Extinction is where they got the Genosha attacks in the comics. So, dude, yeah, this show has been phenomenal. I think even though I know Drake probably you're gonna think this is crazy, I still think X-Men the animated series tops Shogun for me currently.
Okay, cool. That's
Yeah. That's a
you're
pretty bad
entitled to
take.
It's cool to have
your-
opinions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Even shit ones? No, but I don't know. Somehow this is getting me in like a more emotional and nostalgic way that I feel like is hitting me deeper somehow.
Yeah, you got
And
more tied to it.
That's true. I do.
Yeah. The
So,
roots run deep.
deep. Those fuckers down to the middle of the earth.
Deep in the Aina.
Me and Herman, we run this gulch.
You run this go. We'll have to post that. Did
Go
we not
watch that
post that to the
TikTok.
story? Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll
no.
put it. I'll have to link to it for sure in the show notes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, guys, I think that was it. Unless you have anything else to say on X-Men '97.
No, it's great. Just watch it. Like it's so good.
Yeah, I mean, what more can we say other than just have a great day and X-Men 97 away?
Damn, I
Boom.
can't say that any better. All right, well, thank you all so much. We got some things coming out that's going to be fun. Stay tuned if you're not following us on social media. Please do that because we have other things that are not directly tied to our podcast episodes that we're going to be coming out with that we really like you guys to join. And if you can, we still really could use those reviews and shares. Like the reviews is what helps us get to higher levels and also gets put on more platforms to search and yada yada, which we do want to grow and we kind of want to keep continuing to get better and have the podcast become better, and that helps us eventually get to that level. So there's the plug for tonight. Drake, do you want to close us out?
Hey everyone, I just want to look you in your eyes and whisper to you in your ears, thanks for sticking it with us.
Well done. All right.
The Joystick Show. The Joystick Show.